Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Brian here, and of course, it's Thursday, so it's time for another show. Don't forget, if you're watching on Facebook, you can also watch on YouTube. We are live on YouTube as well. Check it out, YouTube channel, The Brian Shepherd Show. So tonight, exciting, another guest. Another author. We're going to be talking to Larry Jorgenson, who is going to be talking about the Coca-Cola Trail, which sounds very interesting. It is about the people and places about Coca-Cola. So what could be better than that, right? Learn something about America's favorite drink. So not mine, but everyone else's. I'm going to be drinking a lot during the show because today it reached 90 degrees up where I am. Hello, Chris Evans. It's very hot in my office. That's why you do not see a green screen behind me because it traps the heat. So no green screen, but I'm sweating bullets right now. So yeah, it's crazy. Don't forget to like and share the video. The more people that watch, the better. Whatever. Like anyone else has anything else better to do than be watching me on a Thursday. So, yeah. Hello to my sister Heather. Hello. Welcome. Everything's wet. Oh my God, it's warm. It is warm. Let me bring this down here so people can see me. Hello. All right. Let's start sharing the heck out of this video here. Let's see, a couple of things to go over before we start talking to the guest, who should be arriving fairly soon. Let's see, where is my video? There it is. Yay, I am live now. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. If you can't, just let me know, and I will fix it. Where exactly am I live? And why can't I? Oh, watch video. Duh. Let me know. Nope. Mute. Hello. So just give me 1 second because I know people are commenting. I can't see your comments at the moment. I'm just sharing this video. Somehow. I don't know how. Let me see here. Oh, share. No, I don't. Okay, well, maybe I can't share. Oh, yeah, I can. No, I can't. All right. Well, anyways, besides that, welcome. Okay, so, oh my God. There we go. That's better. Okay, so hello to my grandmother. Hello to Dan. Welcome. No green screen. As I said in the beginning of the video, it was 90 degrees today, and the sun just went down. So I had to turn off all the fans. I don't know if you can hear the fans in the background coming from my living room. I'm sweating bullets. It's very warm in the office. This is the roof right here, so it's very warm. And I didn't want any fans going because you would hear it and you would not be able to hear me. So with that being said, if you're just in the green screen, when I have it up, traps the heat. So it would be so worse. So you're getting my office today like you haven't seen it before, right? So like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm going to be talking to author Larry Jorgenson, who is going to be talking about his book, The Coca-Cola Trail, which is about the people and places, the history of Coca-Cola. So it's very interesting, and I can't wait to talk to him. I have listened to previous interviews that he has done on various other shows, and it sounds very interesting. So I hope everyone enjoys what he has to say, and he will be joining us fairly soon. I have sent the link, and hopefully he joins us. So if anyone has any questions before he comes on for me, let me know. Also, if you're watching from either YouTube or Facebook here. Don't forget, there is the chat room. You can ask questions. The guest can see the questions. So if I miss one, maybe the guest will see them and pay attention to that. So we'll get to everyone's questions. So yeah, that's about it. I hope everyone is enjoying their Thursday. I hope the heat did not get to you. It did to me. Let me tell you, I didn't feel like doing anything today. I did not leave the house. So yeah, where is everyone here? So again, I'm just going to, I don't know why it doesn't let me share my video. I don't know why it doesn't let me do that, but it is not letting me share my own video, and I don't know why. So if people can share this, if you don't see someone on, please tag them. That way they can see the show. So, and also don't forget, there you can, if you do the rewatch, if you watch afterwards, and you have questions, please continue to write. I still see the comments, and I will make sure that Larry gets the questions if they are for him. So yeah, I don't know what to do here. This thing is being dumb. It really is. Yeah. Let's see here. I need to share. Share. No, I don't want to share this. Share on a friend's timeline, I guess. Yeah, I have to send it to myself. Nope, it's not letting me share it to myself for some odd reason. This is really strange. All right, well, I'm just going to keep going. I don't see everyone here. So anyways, any questions for me? Who do we got watching? Burton. Hello, Burton. Burton's watching. Yeah. So, Dan, thanks for bringing that up. So I absolutely love the new camera. You are crystal clear. And I don't know why people couldn't hear you before with that one video, but I did. So, other than that, yeah, it looks much better. So, kudos. So, yeah. And that's right. For those who don't know, Daniel does his own videos every Monday and Fridays at 9 p.m. Right on Facebook, on his Facebook page. And you can follow along and watch him read chapters of various books that he has written or fan fiction, which he's currently doing. And you can ask questions. You can talk to him about writing his books. Just sit there and listen to his stories. Interact with a lot of people. A lot of people are watching, Dan. So I'm very I'm impressed to see that your numbers are going up, which is very good. So keep at it. Hello to my aunt. Joking, it's probably an idiot error. It probably is. It probably is. I'm more than capable of sharing before. I don't know why I can't share my own video, but that's really interesting. So, but anyways, so and just to recap, so everyone knows, so you're not missing anything. The show is now every Tuesday and Thursday now, same time, 8:00. Unless I decide to go early. Because now I have the option of bringing the show wherever I want. As long as there's internet, I can do the show wherever. Before that wasn't the case, and I wasn't able to do that. But now that I can do that, I can go outside and do the show depending on the time. I wanted to go outside. It's a lot cooler outside than it is in here. But unfortunately, with the whole lighting and the sun going down, I didn't know how to really do that. So maybe Tuesday, because there is no guest at the moment for Tuesday, maybe I'll do a show from outside, maybe a little bit earlier. But again, I'll let you know. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think if there was any other news that I had to talk about. Any questions so far for me about the show, people coming up? Because I'm pretty well booked for the rest of the month, I think, except for 2 Tuesdays. I don't have a guest, but all the Thursdays are booked. So, and I think people are going to really enjoy next Thursday's guest. She'll be coming on and be talking about not only the paranormal, but history as well. Something about the Civil War gold. And so that was very interesting. So it's a more history like tonight. So that's next Thursday. That's Amy Romine. If anyone is interested in looking her up. So, yeah. Daniel, I was thinking that after I finish reading the Star Trek story, you could join me for one of my shows and talk about being a character in my books. Me? No. Well. Yeah, Dan, I'm whenever you want. I'm free. So, yeah, I would love to come on and talk. Sure, absolutely. I only mentioned that as a joke, but yeah, absolutely. I'll be more than happy to come on. So, hello, Jim. Jim Sadler is watching from, I believe it's Oxford. Is it Oxford, England? So, hello to you and welcome. Yeah. So, yeah, Dan, let me know. It is so warm. It is disgusting. And I have like nothing to wipe myself. It is really warm. I'm sweating just sitting here. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. So, yeah. Chris, I'm pretty sure that Daniel will be on the show again at some point. Dan has a way of making his way onto my show for all the right reasons. So I'm pretty sure it'll happen. So maybe Tuesday. Who knows? But anyways, so any other questions for me before my guest comes on? I think I got maybe 2 minutes before he chimes in. I hope so. I was a little late giving him the link. So any questions, just let me know. As long as everyone can hear me okay so far, which is good. Everyone can see me, which is okay. I just don't like this blinding light. It's horrible. It's horrible. Maybe that's better. I have no idea. But anyways, yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't think I have really anything. I'm just waiting for him to come on. And like I said, if you have any questions for Larry, please make sure you post them and I will ask them at the appropriate time. That's pretty much how it goes. Don't forget to like and share this video. There's Larry. Don't forget to like and share this video with your friends, even your enemies. They need to laugh, be entertained as well. So, yeah. So like I was saying, there's no guest on Tuesday, but there's still a show. So, and like I said, I might do it from outside now that I'm able to do that. I love StreamYard. This is the service that I'm using. This is a new feature of theirs. So I'm going to give it a try. They said I could use a cell phone or an iPad. So I'm going to give that a whirl. So, yeah. After the show, I will make sure that I post any links for our guest, where you can find the book, any websites and any of that. You know, I always do that. The book will also end up on the website, so it's easy for viewers, my fans here, which I call my fans, to purchase the book more easily. All you would have to do is find the cover of the book, click on it, and we'll bring you straight to wherever it's being sold. So, and don't forget, I am a huge supporter of Amazon Kindle Unlimited. I just did it. I absolutely love it. You can read. People still get paid for the books, which is awesome. You can read whatever you want. So I encourage you to do that. If you download them for the Kindle, you can still read them on your iPad as well if you have the Kindle app. So, yes, Jim, I'm sorry. There's no green screen today because it's like 80-something degrees out there currently. It's hot in here. I do not have an air conditioner up here. I'm sweating bullets. And the green screen just keeps all the heat in front of me. So you're getting a taste of my office here, like people haven't seen it before. So, yeah. But I'm going to stop rambling. And we're going to go straight into the interview because Larry is here. And like I said, if you want to learn more about the book, go buy it, read it, because it's very interesting. You will learn things that you probably didn't even know. So the Coca-Cola Trail is very interesting. So I'm going to bring him on. And then we're just going to talk because I'm pretty sure Larry's ready, right? Yeah, he looks ready. So, oh, hello, Larry.
Hello, how are you tonight?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
It's definitely Coca-Cola. It's not cold.
I'm having a hard time understanding what you're saying there, Larry.
Well, I don't know. We'll try it again. It's warm. It's certainly Coca-Cola weather.
Did you experience any storms today where you are?
And
Okay, so here's the thing. I have no idea what you just said. Your video is paused. Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Hello.
There you are.
What's happening?
Do you have
there?
Yeah, you're there. You're just you're lagging. That's the word I want to use, lagging. But it seems to be fixing itself, I hope.
Okay. I'm game to play whatever you want. An experience here. Because of where I'm located, we are Wi-Fi.
Oh.
There's no, I can't connect and do this sort of thing. If we connect, I've got to do Wi-Fi.
Okay. Did you want to talk on the phone instead?
We could do that.
Okay. Only because if it freezes or if I lose you, I don't want to lose you, you know? So I'm trying to figure out how to do this. This happened to somebody, another one of my guests, and something happened where I had to call them instead, just in case something happened. I mean, you look okay. I can hear you, but Yeah. Okay. So if you want to email a phone number, I will call you as soon as you give me that email. How's that work?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So where do I email it?
The same email that was given the link. You can email that one. And it'll get forwarded over to me.
All right, let's do that and try. I got all give you the phone number while we're talking. Will that work?
Yeah, I didn't hear it. I didn't hear any of that. So if you just want to email, I will call you.
Okay.
Okay, we'll do it.
Okay, let's try that.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So while we wait, I'm going to pull up my Skype here. And Larry, I see that you're still there. So you're going to have to disconnect. Otherwise, you'll have feedback. We don't want that. I am going to pull up my Skype here because that's normally what I have to do. And I will wait for that email to come through. So in the meantime, people can get their questions ready. Don't forget, everyone, this whole video interview thing is new for a lot of people. So a lot of people are not used to it. I'm used to it because I do it all the time. But I'm surprised I have not gotten a no. Everyone is thrilled to be on here and want to talk to everyone. And so far, I've had a lot of engaging guests who actually talk to you guys and answer your questions. So I'm very grateful for that. So especially those from Ambassador International, those have been the latest guests. I don't think that Larry is part of Ambassador International. I don't think he is, but I'm not complaining. So, all right. Anyways, I gotta get my email here so I can see where. Oh my God, it is so warm in here. Oh, excuse me. Oh, there he is. All right. Let's see. Let's get him on the phone. Hopefully, everyone can hear him. There he is. Let's see. What do we got here? It's ringing. Please, everyone, let me know if you cannot hear him.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello. Is this Brian?
It is.
All right. We're making some progress.
We are making progress. I can hear you perfectly fine, which is good.
Okay. So you're my leader. Where do we go from here, Brian?
Well, I've told everyone about the book. That was the introduction before you came on, so they're well aware of who you are. We're just going to talk about the book and go from there. People know that they can ask questions. Unfortunately, because you're not on the screen anymore, you're not able to see the questions, but I will ask questions in between, if that's all right with you.
Okay. That'll work.
Yeah.
So, well, it's a very, the book is very different. You know, there's probably been 200 books written about Coca-Cola, and they're all about corporate Atlanta. Nobody has ever sat down and said, wait a minute, if it wasn't for all these bottlers and young entrepreneurs back in the early 1900s, there wouldn't have been a Coca-Cola empire. It was these guys that really stuck their neck out and said, yeah, we think this is a good business. Let's try to make it happen. And that's what the book is about. The guys that made it happen, and where you can go see a lot of that history still today. And you know what we're trying to do too, Brian, in looking at the mess that we're all in, I've written down some thoughts as far as places you could go now that are open, even places where you can see some things from your car if you want to, you know, obviously. Or the book also provides good ideas of where you could go when they finally turn us free, you know. So it's a kind of a travel guide as well as history.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I guess the first question is what made you write a book about Coca-Cola?
Well, strangely enough, I'm not a Coca-Cola collector, but there's thousands out there. Actually, I'm in Louisiana, and I'm not too far from Vicksburg, Mississippi, where there is, in fact, a museum, because that's where Coca-Cola was first bottled, was in Vicksburg, and they've restored the soda fountain where it was bottled. So I thought, well, I'm going to do a little travel feature on Vicksburg, and then about 60 miles away, there's Monroe, Louisiana, where there's another Coca-Cola museum. These are both, you know, not corporate museums, they're the bottlers who have put them together. And I thought, that's an interesting story. So I set out to do that, and, you know, it just got out of control. The more I got into it, the more I found out there is amazing Coca-Cola history all over the country. And some people get addicted to the drink. I got addicted to the story. And that's what we've tried to do that. In fact, there's so much of it, Brian, we're actually about finished with the sequel to it, book number 2.
Book number 2. Ooh, okay.
And that should be out, you know, we were delayed by the commotion that's going on now, but it should be out by August. And it's just simply called Return to the Trail. But, you know, there's places you can go visit that have Coca-Cola history that's pretty unique. Like I say, Vicksburg was one because that's the first place that anybody put Coca-Cola in a bottle. You know, we've just gotten through the 4th of July, and it was, in fact, a situation on the 4th of July that caused Coca-Cola to be bottled. There was a gentleman in Vicksburg. He had a soda fountain, and we talk about it in the first part of the book. And he was taking soda drinks. You know, in those days they were bottling sarsaparilla and lemon and lime. And there was a little bottler in town that was doing that. And when he'd go out and take food and drinks to a picnic for a customer, he'd take these bottled beverages that he would get from a little bottler. Well, the 4th of July, he had an order to go to a big picnic, and the bottler couldn't take care of him. So he had to go make lemonade for these people at the picnic, and afterwards he bought some bottling equipment and said, that's it, I'm going to start bottling on my own. And later, months later, he realized that Coca-Cola was selling well at his soda fountain. And he thought, why don't I put it in bottles and then people don't have to come to town to get it? You know, in those days, going to Vicksburg, that was a horse and buggy thing. So he started bottling it and became the first bottler. You know, what makes it even more interesting, Coca-Cola thought bottling was a dumb idea. You know, they didn't realize how valuable the product could be in a bottle. It was 5 years later that 2 men from Chattanooga went to Atlanta and after considerable discussion convinced the owner of Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola being the syrup manufacturer, that they could bottle it. And he told them, he said, that's a dumb idea. That is really a dumb idea, but I will sell you the rights to bottle Coca-Cola throughout the United States for $1. And he never even collected the $1. And he told them, if this doesn't work, don't come back to me. So that is really how Coca-Cola bottling started. They go back to Chattanooga, and it's like, you know, you ever hear the story about a dog chasing a car? Once you catch it, what are you going to do with it? You know, so they've got the rights to bottle Coca-Cola throughout the United States, and they got $1,500. How are they going to do that? So then the light goes on. Wait a minute, we've got the rights. Let's sell the territories. So they started cutting up little 50-mile territories and selling them territories to people who wanted to bottle Coca-Cola. They became, I guess, what we call a parent bottler, because the individual bottlers, when they bottled, of course, they had to use Coca-Cola syrup. And for every gallon of syrup that was sold, these two gentlemen that sold them the territory also got a commission on the syrup. So that's really how it started. And it's pretty amazing that Coca-Cola didn't think bottling was even a good idea. Took them a long time to catch on.
What year are we talking about? When did they start bottling?
Well, the Vicksburg bottling operation, the one man in his soda fountain, was 1894. It was 5 years later that the two gentlemen from Chattanooga, so that would have been, 1899, when they got the rights to bottle. And so it really all started, they started selling territory, and by 1900, we were off and running. They were selling territory, and Coca-Cola was being bottled. You know, one time there was over 2,400 bottlers across the United States that were bottling Coca-Cola, and all because the two guys from Chattanooga got the rights to do it. There was one other place in Valdosta, Georgia, and it was a gentleman that had a bottling business, you know, with lemon and lime and orange and all that. And he found out he could go to the local soda fountain where they were selling it across the counter, and he could buy the syrup. So he started buying the syrup unbeknownst to Coca-Cola and was taking it back to his little bottling plant. And he became actually the second person to bottle Coca-Cola, but that was 3 years after Joe did it in Vicksburg. So it took a long time for the people at Coca-Cola to realize, you know, we're going to start putting this stuff in bottles. And it took off from there.
Yeah. How much time for research did it take you to write this book?
In 2.5 years.
Wow. And
I did a lot of traveling, interviewed some wonderful people. You know, that's the one thing about Coca-Cola. It's got some great people out there that are working to make it all happen. And it's families. So many of it is still fourth, fifth, sixth generation families. I talked to a family in Santa Fe, New Mexico. They're into the sixth generation of bottling and selling Coca-Cola out there. So it's a lot of families that got into it. They realized they had found something wonderful and have stuck with it. Of course, like any business, there's been consolidation. You know, the big guys keep buying and getting bigger, but you've still got a lot of family involved in bottling and selling Coca-Cola.
Wow. So how many places?
So that was, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so that was why it took 2.5 years to research it, because you have these people and they all have different stories as to how they got into it, why they got into it, and it just makes fascinating history. But you really have to dig it out. You know, sit down with somebody and how did you get into it, and what challenges? You know, you talk about 1900. This was not high-speed bottling. This was bottling foot power machines, and you know, a lot of times overpowering with the carbonation and bottles blowing up. A lot to learn.
Do we know where the recipe came from for Coca-Cola?
Yes, it truly did come from Mr. Pemberton, who had actually been hurt in the Civil War. and he was a pharmacist. He lived in Columbus, Georgia, and he was a pharmacist, and he started playing around with something to give him some relief from his war injury. And it started with the cola nut and the leaf from the coca plant. In other words, if you pursue that further, you could take that leaf and make cocaine. He was just using the leaf and the ingredients to make Coca-Cola. It was not processed into a drug. And he developed the formula, found that it worked, and ultimately he moved to Atlanta, took the formula with him, and started making it in a larger quantity, and he found a drugstore and offered it to the drugstore to sell for medicinal purposes. This is a pain reliever. And you know what? It tasted pretty good. And it went from there. So it was, in fact, the original recipe was a pain relieving recipe. But it had a pretty good kick to it too. And they did, for about 15, 20 years, there was the coca effect, not cocaine, but similar. And they finally removed that completely from the formula because people were relating that to cocaine and saying, oh, it's a drug. And so it now doesn't even have the coca leaf to the intensity that it had back then. But it certainly has a different flavor. And it's something that I know many people, they get up in the morning, you got to have their Coke to get started. So.
Yeah, no thanks. I'm not a Coca-Cola fan, so. But,
I wasn't until I got into the book, and I'm not addicted, but I do appreciate it. And I guess if you're going to get a soft drink at my house, it'll be a Coca-Cola now. But
makes sense.
It's some people, there's a lot of Coca. I wonder how much Coca-Cola was sold July 4th weekend. I'd like to just have the deposit on the bottles, Anyhow.
Yeah.
But we've got Vicksburg, and the gentleman that did the first bottling in Vicksburg, he had 5 brothers, and they eventually realized that this Coca-Cola thing was pretty serious, and they started buying bottling plants, and actually became one of the largest family-owned Coca-Cola bottlers in the United States until the 80s, when they turned around and sold everything to Coca-Cola. But it was all because they tried it and thought, this is pretty good. And they realized that if they could get involved in the ground floor, the family could make out real well. And they did. The family had bottling plants throughout the South and the Southwest. So and there are still members of that family that are involved in Coca-Cola bottling. And how many years ago? Since 1900,
Yeah.
For those that are Coca-Cola history buffs, we're talking about Joe Beaton Arn and all his brothers. And that's a well-known name in Coca-Cola.
I'm just curious, how do you go from pharmacy use to something consumed every day as just another soft drink? I mean, how do they know that, people would enjoy it as a refreshing drink instead of, for an ailment or something?
Well, it started at that pharmacy in Atlanta where it was being sold supposedly. I mean, the reason was it would relieve pain, but people just enjoyed it. And pretty soon the sign went up that said, delicious and refreshing was one of the first Coca-Cola, like it's the real thing. It was one of their first slogans was delicious and refreshing. And there was another one that in fact, even before that, one of the first sayings related to refreshing and relieves pain. So they kind of had the combo there as they developed the the market for the drink. It was refreshing, and it would also relieve pain. And people tried it, and then, by golly, it was refreshing. And it just grew from there. It became, who's got it? Where's it for sale? And it didn't take long for the bottlers to realize that they had a product in demand.
Right, absolutely. So how many places of historic, to do with Coca-Cola did you visit?
The book has 30 chapters.
Okay.
And those 30 chapters represent at least 30 places. Some of them, there's multiple places. And I've got 2 chapters in there that deal with historic Coca-Cola signs and that have been saved by communities that are unique, whatever, and so you can go to these places and see these signs that were painted in 1900, and they truly are works of commercial art, because this wasn't paper that was slapped up on a board. It was some guy with a brush and a bucket of paint and an idea, and he painted Coca-Cola signs, and some of them are very valuable. The original signs, There's, in fact, there is a sign painter who started out painting signs in Minnesota, who later became an internationally famous wildlife artist. His name is Les Koba, and for people that are into wildlife art, that's a famous name. But he started out painting Coca-Cola signs and painting Coca-Cola on the side of trucks or whatever. So and it's pretty neat. He learned how to paint the sign, the logo, the Coca-Cola logo. He could paint it upside down and backwards, and he would do that. Sometimes he would be like at a Ducks Unlimited banquet or something, and he would paint one upside down and backwards on a tablecloth, and they'd sell it as a fundraiser, So, but Coca-Cola history is everywhere. And the gentleman that took over Asa Candler, he told, this was back in the 20s, 30s, in that time. By then, there's Coca-Cola signs all over the place. And he once boasted to Hollywood when they were making a movie. He said, it's going to be to the point where you won't be able to make a movie outside without there being a Coca-Cola sign in the background. And I think it's come pretty close to that,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, absolutely.
So they're everywhere. And every once in a while, somebody will uncover one that for whatever reason, maybe a building was built next to it, or there's one sign in Alabama that was uncovered, and actually it had been an outside sign. The building that it was attached to expanded, and there was a wall built over it. And when they uncovered it, it was like brand new, and it is supposedly the oldest unrestored Coca-Cola sign in the country. And it's beautiful. They had a big celebration to observe it, and it was recognized as being a very old piece of Coca-Cola history. So that's in the book too. We tell about where it's at and what else happened with Coca-Cola in that particular community. It's kind of what we tried to do, Brian. We tried to find the things that are interesting and that you can see, touch, and feel right now. But what were they before? If it's a Coca-Cola building, for example, there's a beautiful Coca-Cola plant in Paducah, Kentucky. Gorgeous plant. And of course, it's no longer a plant, but it has a pizza shop in it. It's got a couple of microbreweries. It's got a gift store. It's been converted. The Coca-Cola bottling was consolidated with another bottler. And here's this beautiful building that now gets a lot of visitors because of the Coca-Cola history. and it has things to offer people. And we've got, that's, typical of the kind of chapters we've got in the book is where can you see, touch, and feel Coca-Cola history? What is it now? What was it then?
Mm. Absolutely.
The other thing you could talk about drive-by, Terre Haute, Indiana, which is where the Coca-Cola bottle, as we know it, was invented. The bottle with I call the bubble in the middle. It was actually invented by a glass company in Terre Haute, and that city takes a lot of pride and a lot of promotion in that they are the city where the Coca-Cola bottle was born. If you go to Terre Haute, you'll see large bottles on the street, simulated bottles that have been painted up and decorated. The museum in Terre Haute has a lot of Coca-Cola history in it. And it's how something that happened in that city in 1906 has continued to be a part of Terre Haute, Indiana. That's where the bottle was born. Up until then, the bottlers were using whatever they could get their hands on to put the stuff in. And Coca-Cola said, no, wait a minute. We need one bottle that when you pick it up in your hands, you know you've got a bottle of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And so they challenged the glass makers. There were 6 of them that competed to design the bottle. And the glass maker in Terre Haute, Indiana won the competition, and that's where it all got started.
Awesome. Okay, so questions are starting to roll in. So I'm going to ask a question here from a fellow author, Daniel Payton. He would like to know, has the Coca-Cola Company taken any interest in your book and or the research behind it?
I developed a very good relationship with the people at Coca-Cola Archives and have provided them with some information and vice versa. Also, the book, to do it, I had to be licensed by Coca-Cola. They had to approve it. And it is when you see on the first page of the book, where it gives all the, I call it the gobbledygook, all the legal stuff. You'll see that it is licensed by Coca-Cola. They just wanted to make sure I was not going to say things that weren't true, So from that standpoint, I didn't want too much. I didn't want it to swing as a corporate book. So I tried not to do a lot of corporate connection. I appreciated them when I needed the help, but I didn't want it to be another Coca-Cola corporate book. This is about the bottlers, and I spent my time talking to the pioneer bottlers and the families and taking it on from that standpoint.
Right. The other good thing about it, because I have your book, and I haven't had the chance to read it, which I should have, but I've been reading other authors' books that have been on the show. But the thing I like about this and that's interesting is that you have included pictures in your book.
Lots of pictures, and that was part of the 2.5 years of research, was getting the pictures. Some of them came from the families, some of them came from historical societies, museums, wherever I could find them. Thank goodness for the internet and being able to email photos, because if I would find one in a family, I didn't have to take possession of it. We'd just email it back to the home office and be able to work with a download from the photo. So that has helped in being able to fill the book full of great historic photos. In fact, going back to Vicksburg, there's a photo in there, and I'd love to have somebody do a painting of it. I call it Coca-Cola's first delivery man. And it is a black gentleman with a horse-drawn wagon that is loaded with cases of bottled Coca-Cola. He had to be the world's first Coca-Cola delivery man because nobody else was bottling it. And here he is, with his one horse wagon, delivering bottles of Coca-Cola. It's a great photo, and I had to get that from the family records of the Biedenhardt family. And that's how we did. There's some great photos in there. And I took a lot of the current photos. When I visited, I took the current stuff. So it's kind of a combination of me and history as far as the photos.
Yeah, I just flashed the picture there so everyone knew exactly what picture you were referring to, which is Andrew Butler, and that was in 1896. So yeah, wow.
Yeah, it was one year after Joe started bottling. There's a wagon load of Coca-Cola bottles in the world's first delivery van.
Wow. Yeah, I'm definitely. I do need to read this because now I'm finding myself looking at the pictures when I need to stop and read first. Let me see. Go ahead.
Brian, the good thing about it is you don't have to sit down and devour the whole book. The way it's written, each chapter really is a story. You could read one chapter and say, yeah, I learned something about Vicksburg. I learned something about Monroe. I learned something about, Mobile, Alabama, whatever. You read one chapter. You don't have to devour the whole book, feel that you're going to miss something. You can read a chapter and set it aside.
So if you had not lived where you do, would there still be a Coca-Cola book?
Probably not, at least not this one. It was, like I say, there were two places that were convenient for me to visit, which got me hooked on doing the story. Yeah. It's just time and place, I guess. And looking to do a story and end up doing a book, and now I'm about done with book number 2. It's been a great adventure, right? I've met some wonderful people. I've heard some fantastic stories. I don't know how we're doing on time, but I'll tell you a story about the connection to Delta Airlines and Coca-Cola. And it's in the book. It's in the chapter on Monroe. One of Joe Biedenhardt's sons, in fact, his youngest son, Bernie, by the time he got involved in the business, they're doing pretty good in Monroe. And Bernie starts investing in a local crop duster, little airline that's doing the thing out there in the field. And they'd come to him and say, gee, we need some money, we got to buy another airplane. So Bernie Biedenhardt, he'd give him some money and he'd get some stock in the company. Well, as it evolved, they decided, maybe we'll start hauling passengers too. So they bought a plane and he gave them money and got stock back. And they started, this little airline started going from Dallas to Shreveport to Monroe, to Jackson, Mississippi. And they did pretty well. In fact, they started buying more airplanes, and Bernie kept giving them money, and they kept giving them stock, and lo and behold, they became Delta Airlines. And Delta Airlines for years was in Monroe, Louisiana, because that's where Mr. Biedenhardt was. Mm. Well, it so happens Delta is getting pretty big, and they're still in Monroe. And at one particular meeting, the stockholders had come in and they were having their annual meeting. And some stockholders from a big city, Chicago, New York, whatever, stood up and said, this airline has really become pretty large and prestigious. And we're meeting in our annual meeting in Monroe, Louisiana. So my name is whatever it was, and I have 10,000 shares of Delta Airlines. And I move that next year we meet someplace more prestigious. And at that point, Bernie Biedenhardt stood up and said, my name is Bernie Biedenhardt, and I have 960,000 shares of Delta Airlines. I'll see you next year in Monroe, Louisiana. So that's the connection between Coca-Cola and Bill Airline. It was Coca-Cola money, kind of indirectly, that made it all happen. And those that like Coca-Cola ended up in Atlanta, But for a long time, they were the pride and joy of Monroe, Louisiana. And it was Coca-Cola money that made it happen.
Wow. That I did not know.
You may have heard of the fellow comedian. He's died a few years ago, named Jerry Clower. And Jerry used to tell that story when he was on the road. It's a good Southern story.
Oh, very interesting. I'm just going to ask if anyone has any questions for Larry. Make sure you ask them now. We had a late start. We had some issues, so that's why we're still going. We technically have 5 more minutes. But if anyone has any other questions. So you've already mentioned that, there's a sequel to this book. Hopefully, we're hoping for maybe August to come out. Is there any plans on writing about anything other than Coca-Cola?
Yeah, I've got one, and it's going to be a little controversial. But I'm a history writer. My background, Brian, I'm an old news dog. I was in radio, TV, I was in weekly and daily newspaper, the whole stick. So all I know how to do is write history, So I've got that one coming out. Before the Coca-Cola book, about a little place in Louisiana called the Hot Wells. Everybody knows about Hot Springs, Arkansas. Well, there was, in fact, the counter to that called Hot Wells, Louisiana. And it lasted for about 60 years. And now it's nothing more than a pretty much a rundown ghost town, few places, and the health resort that was there is all gone. So I did the history of Hot Wells, Louisiana. In fact, the book is called Hot Wells, a Louisiana Ghost. And that's the kind of writing I do. I like to get into things that have an interesting story, that are current history, that people can relate to today. When I went on the road with the Hot Wells book, it was amazing for people who would come up to me and say, "Oh, when I was a kid, my mom and dad used to take me there." So that's the kind of writing I do, and I enjoy it. I just like digging out the facts and finding the old photos and going from there.
Absolutely. I love history books. I love learning about things. So that's one of the reasons why I had to get you on the show, because, my fans and viewers here, they love the paranormal. They love history. So they love all this stuff. So where can people find the Coca-Cola Trail? Where can they buy it?
Well, obviously, one of the more popular ones is Amazon.
Yep.
Go to Amazon, you can get it. You can go to my website, which is simply thecocacolatrail.com, and you'll find it in the darndest places. You'll find it country stores. Love it. If you go into a country store and there's a Coca-Cola memorabilia hanging on the wall, chances are they've gotten a book for sale. A lot of the old soda fountains. It's available in gift stores at places like the RV Hall of Fame in Indiana, or places that are mentioned in the book, like up in Chattanooga, everybody knows, Sea Rock City. Well, they've got the book. So places that get visitors, that get tourists, because really it's a travel guide. Where do I go next? So you're going to find it in those kind of places, and you're going to find it in country stores. And the towns that we write about in the book, you'll find it often in the bookstores in those towns. But it's not a Barnes and Noble, and it's not a Books A Million. It's more of a targeted distribution, I guess you'd say. And it's been great. It started out as a fun thing, and it's sold thousands of copies. I've been very happy with it.
Awesome. I would think that any person interested in the history of Coca-Cola would find this book to be almost like a map, a treasure map, because you can buy the book, and because the way you've done the chapters, we know where you've been. So people can just follow that from town to state to different state and visit all these different types of, places and museums and stuff. I think it's fantastic.
Brian, I had a gentleman from California who sent me an email. This was shortly after the book came out. And he said, I just wanted you to know I'm planning my summer vacation around your book. And I thought, well, that's a good example of what it's there for. And he took the time to tell me that's what he was going to do. It made me feel pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're going to have to keep us informed on when the sequel is coming out, because I would love nothing more than to have you come back on and talk to us about that one.
And there's some goodies in that one, and I was quick to talk about it tonight, but I think I want to save them, and we'll do it again, because there's some really different stories that I found in there, and I'll be glad to come back on. We'll get it out, and we'll talk about it for sure.
Absolutely. We don't want any spoilers, so people are going to have to wait. So
that's right. Read the first book, then it makes the second one better.
That's right. Absolutely. So, well, I want to thank you for coming on and talking about this fantastic book. Like I said, I'm going to have to read it. I do own it. I hope that other people watching will grab the book if you're interested in the history of Coca-Cola, because, like I said, it sounds fantastic. So, Larry, thank you so much for coming on. I'm glad that we were able to fix our little issue at the beginning there. And we'll go from there, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, and maybe the video did us a favor. People have always said I've got a face for radio, so it worked out good. Okay.
Absolutely.
Brian, I appreciate it. Been a fun interview, and let's stay in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
Thank you. You take care.
You too. All right. Well, there you go. That's Larry Jorgenson and the Coca-Cola Trail, which is the people and history of Coca-Cola, things I didn't even know about. So it's kind of fascinating and interesting to learn something new. And that's what my show is about. It's about bringing people information and learning stuff and being educated, besides being entertained by me sometimes. So there you have it. So I will, and I know that Dan, thank you so much, Dan, for posting the link. My author assistant here has posted the link in the comments of where you can find the book. I will make sure that I also post it on the website. Like I said, if you are an Amazon Prime member, I encourage you to get the Kindle Unlimited and read as many books as you want. This is one of the books that is part of Kindle Unlimited. So yeah, and I'm very happy to see, I'm not sure if she's still here, Karen Smith, Holly Bargo, that was a guest on not that long ago, was the romance writer was on. So it's nice to see you. Dan says, I'm interested in reading this. When I go to visit my brother in Chattanooga, I will find the book. Please let me know, Dan, if you do, in fact, find the book, where you got it, and how you like the book when you read it. So does anyone have any other questions? Now's the time to ask. Just let me know. Jim says that he's a Pepsi Max guy. I love Pepsi Max. And it's funny because I never liked regular Coke. I didn't like the taste of it. Oh, but I love Coke. But now I can't even drink that. So I don't even drink Coca-Cola really anymore, except for Pepsi Max. I love Pepsi Max. So, yeah. Just trying to see. My aunt likes history stuff. I love history stuff. I love bringing that to the show. So hopefully next Thursday, you'll get a kick out of that guest as well. Amy Romine is her name. Romine. Check out her books as well on Amazon. So, yeah, absolutely. So, any other questions before we go? I know there's a delay. Yeah, Steph, I really don't drink soda that much anymore unless I go out somewhere, like Burger King or McDonald's or something. Like I'll get like root beer or Sprite or whatever. But other than that, I really don't drink soda anymore. I drink teas or Snapple. So, and most of the time they're diet. Why? Because I'm fat and I don't need all that sugar stuff anymore. So, yeah. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. It's supposed to be nice, I think, up here anyways. And I will see everyone Tuesday. Maybe I'll do a special show outside. And as soon as Dan finds out when he would like me to be on his show, or I guess you can call it a show. I would call it a show. We'll let everyone know. If people didn't realize that, that's what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. So, yeah, Jim, you'll only see from here. So, from here down, yeah, I'm fat. I'm fat. But anyways, I am, and I came up with this. No one better steal it. But I am considered pandemically fat, overweight. Pandemically overweight. That's what I call it. Because all I do is eat now. So, yeah, I heard about Tropical Storm Faye. I'm not exactly what's happening with that. I'll have to do some research. I just happened to hear about it in passing. I have not watched the news. I haven't watched TV in a couple of weeks. All I do is this. So, yeah. Flash Flood Watch. Oh, for us? Or I'm going to have to watch the news. Dan, I have stalked Jim Sadler's Facebook. I do know what Jim looks like. So I used to be that thin back in the day. Not anymore, because now I'm old and I'm fat. But anyways. So with that being said, like I said, I will see you all Tuesday. And we will go from there. I have new equipment. I forgot to mention that is coming Saturday. I got part of it today. So that way I can be on location somewhere doing a show. I brought my handy dandy portable microphone. So this goes on my belt clip or whatever, and I have a microphone so people can actually hear me wirelessly. I love it. And I have a new camera coming. So actually we have two cameras coming. So my camera guy is going to help me do some shows. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. So that's about it. All right. Don't forget to like, share. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. I need people to subscribe on YouTube. I have 8 subscribers. I really don't care, but people need to start watching. So, yeah. So, but other than that, that's it. I hope my family and friends are doing very well. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go because I'm sweating really bad. It's very warm in here. I need to turn the fan on. So that's it. I want to thank everyone for watching, for participating, for asking questions. Without you, there is no show. So I thank everyone here. for watching, and those who are going to be watching afterwards. That's it. I got to go. So have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you all on Tuesday. And if anything changes, I will post it and let you know, if I change the time or something. I might do it earlier, around 7. So that way I'm not so close to Dan's live show. So yeah. All right, that's it. Goodbye. Have a good night.